We promise you this is not an April Fool's joke, what you're about to hear. It is an actual lawsuit filed by an attorney in federal court about Diddy.
I want to start with just the statement from Jay-Z, which is so forceful in its denial. I just read a teeny part of it, it's long, where he says that they should file a criminal complaint. Is that even possible at this point?
At this point, the whispers surrounding the latest allegations against Sean Diddy Combs have sent shockwaves through the entertainment world, with new claims landing him in the center of a legal storm. It's the kind of story that feels pulled straight from a Hollywood thriller, but the details are far more unsettling than fiction. Imagine this a high-profile party full of A-list celebrities, extravagant wealth on full display, and beneath all the glamour and undercurrent of horrific accusations that paint a very different picture of the night's events.
Exactly 10 years ago, they say this was a party for Diddy's son, King Combs, but all the names involved here are huge.
Huge.
Talking Beyoncé, Jay-Z, LeBron James. Now, all of those people are just witnesses, according to this lawsuit.
The lawsuit filed by Joseph Manzaro is nothing short of jaw-dropping. Manzaro, whose name has now been splashed across headlines, accuses Diddy of actions that many would find unimaginable, even in the world of celebrity excess. According to Manzaro, the events unfolded on a spring night in April 2015 at a gathering that can only be described as notorious, hosted by Diddy. This party allegedly brought together some of the most famous faces in the world, Beyoncé and Jay-Z, LeBron James, and even Gloria and Emily Westphal. But what was supposed to be just another glitzy celebration quickly turned into something deeply disturbing. At least, that's what the lawsuit alleges.
That he showed up at this party, or woke up at this party, and didn't understand how he got there, that he's insinuating clearly that he'd been drugged, but woke up and at one point saw Gloria Estefan and Emilio Estefan, and Gloria is saying, hey, we need to get him medical help because he's too drugged up.
Get an ambulance, get him out of here.
Manzaro claims he was intoxicated at some point before finding himself transported to the Estefan's Miami mansion. From there, the story only grows more bizarre. He describes waking up in a haze, his surroundings unfamiliar, and says he felt disoriented as he wazzled through a secret tunnel that connected the Estefan property to Diddy's nearby residence. Yes, you heard that right. A hidden passageway like something out of a spy movie. But this isn't a glamorous caper. According to Manzaro, it's where the nightmare truly began.
Now, that's a fact that anybody can find.
Sure.
But what happened once he got into this party at Diddy's house is outrageous. And I know we're supposed to take every lawsuit seriously because we don't know, we weren't there. The Gloria Estefan part, that's just a start. How Beyoncé gets involved.
Diddy was allegedly hosting a birthday party for his son Christian that evening. But what Manzaro describes is far removed from the wholesome image of a family celebration. He claims he was paraded through the party in a humiliating outfit, a leather mask, with a phallic device attached and taunted by the attendees. If true, this alleged act of public degradation is shocking enough, but the lawsuit goes on to allege far darker events behind closed doors. Manzaro's account of that night includes being subjected to deeply humiliating and non-consensual acts, all orchestrated by Diddy and his inner circle. He describes being forced into compromising situations surrounded by a crowd of jeering onlookers and left feeling powerless to escape. The lawsuit alleges that Diddy himself directed these actions, reportedly saying, "He's going to find out what we do to snitches tonight." Monaro claims this statement was made in reference to a perceived betrayal, though the specifics of what Diddy believed he had done remain unclear. What's even more unsettling is the alleged presence of high-profile witnesses, including Beyoncé and Jay's Who. According to Manzaro, were seated nearby as the events unfolded.
Look, this is one of the most shocking lawsuits I've read. If this had been the first Diddy lawsuit, our jaws would be on the floor, but there's a quality to it that sounds like almost a screenplay being written, because he says he was lapsing sort of in and out of consciousness, and he's hearing voices of celebrities throughout this lawsuit. There's obviously the mask that he says he was wearing and being degraded and humiliated. There's also a bit of a Mad Libs quality of the
Diddy was allegedly hosting a birthday party for his son Christian that evening. But what Monaro describes is far removed from the wholesome image of a family celebration. He claims he was paraded through the party in a humiliating outfit, a leather mask, with a phallic device attached and taunted by the attendees. If true, this alleged act of public degradation is shocking enough, but the lawsuit goes on to allege far darker events behind closed doors. Manzaro's account of that night includes being subjected to deeply humiliating and non-consensual acts orchestrated by Diddy and his inner circle. He describes being forced into compromising situations surrounded by a crowd of jeering onlookers and left feeling powerless to escape. The lawsuit alleges that Diddy himself directed these actions, reportedly saying, "He's going to find out what we do to snitches tonight." Monaro claims this statement was made in reference to a perceived betrayal, though the specifics of what Diddy believed he had done remain unclear. What's even more unsettling is the alleged presence of high-profile witnesses, including Beyoncé and Jay's Who. According to Manzaro, were seated nearby as the events unfolded.
These are all allegations, very wild allegations laid out in this lawsuit. As Derek said, there are elements of it that sound like some of the other lawsuits. But we have not heard a response back from Diddy at this.
Still,
the details become even more surreal when Manzaro's lawsuit describes Beyoncé's reaction to seeing him. Allegedly, she turned to her husband and asked, What's this all about? Why is this half-naked man with a mask standing here in front of me?" While the lawsuit doesn't suggest that she or Jay-Z participated in any wrongdoing, their alleged presence at the gathering has raised eyebrows. It's not every day that global superstars find themselves mentioned in the same breath as such a scandal, and their silence on the matter has only fueled speculation.
I think that there might be a few truths thrown in there somewhere to some of these allegations, but this one almost seems like a fan fiction, or like there are parts of it that just seem a little fabricated, like word salad, all the celebrities thrown in there, and usually it comes back that they weren't even anywhere near the area. It might be a strategy by his lawyers, but who knows?
of course,
LeBron James' name also surfaces in the lawsuit, with Manzaro claiming to have seen the basketball legend walking through the hallway during the alleged events. James, however, has categorically denied being anywhere near Miami at the time with his representatives, pointing out that he was playing for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Throughout April 2015, a basic internet search shows what LeBron was doing. All of April 2015, his spokesperson said, dismissing the claims as demonstrably false. The Estefans, too, have denied any involvement with their representatives, stating that the property in question was not their residence but rather a house used for family purposes. They have also provided documentation to support their claim that no parties were held there during the time frame mentioned in the lawsuit. Diddy's legal team has been equally forceful in their denials. In a statement, they described the lawsuit as a desperate attempt to garner headlines in pursuit of a payday and labeled the allegations as completely fabricated. They also pointed out inconsistencies in Manzaro's account, including the timeline of events and the alleged presence of individuals who were documented to be elsewhere at the time. For example, Jay-Z was reportedly in New York on April 2015, attending public events related to his music streaming platform. Titled These discrepancies have led Diddy's team to suggest that the lawsuit is part of a larger smear campaign against the music mogul, who is already facing a litany of legal challenges.
And because the 8 people in the videos, the 8 celebrities in the videos were allegedly victims of crimes, we know who they are, but we will not be naming them, famous or not.
Back from Diddy at the still. The allegations against Diddy cannot be dismissed lightly, especially given his track record of recent controversies. This lawsuit is just the latest in a series of claims that have painted a troubling picture of his behavior. Behind the scenes, while Diddy has managed to maintain his public persona as a suave, larger-than-life figure, these legal battles have cast a long shadow over his reputation, and as more details emerge, the pressure on him and those named in the lawsuit is only growing. The lawsuit also raises questions about the roles of the other defendants named alongside Diddy, including Emilio Estefan, Adria English, Eric Mads, and Brendan Paul Manzaro's claims suggest that this wasn't the work of one individual, but rather a coordinated effort involving multiple people. English, described as Diddy's personal assistant in their lawsuit, is alleged to have played a significant role in orchestrating the events of that night. The lawsuit even accuses her of leading Manzaro through to the secret tunnel to Diddy's mansion, a detail that has only added to the intrigue surrounding the case. For their part, the defendants have denied the allegations against them, with many pointing out flaws in Manzaro's story. Brendan Paul's attorney, for instance, dismissed the claims as 100% false and literally impossible, noting that Paul was still in high school in Ohio at the time and had never even been to West Palm Beach, where Manzaro claims the ordeal began. Such statements have added yet another layer of complexity to an already convoluted case, leaving many to wonder where the truth lies.
Are there any cameras in places where you'd assume privacy, like bathrooms?
Well, I've never been in this house, but the picture, yes. That's where it took place, yes.
You're aware of surreptitious cameras that were recording in private places like bathrooms.
I didn't see the cameras. You could tell how the person was angled.
Of course, this isn't the first time diehard found himself embroiled in scandal, but the sheer scale of the allegations and the involvement of so many high-profile figures make this case particularly explosive. It's a situation that raises uncomfortable questions, not just about Diddy, but also about the culture of power and privilege that surrounds him. How could something like this allegedly happen in the presence of some of the world's most famous and influential people? And if the allegations are true, what does it say about the complicity of those who stood by and did nothing? Manzaro's lawsuit has already sparked a media frenzy, with everyone from legal experts to gossip columnists weighing in on what it could mean for Diddy's future. While some have dismissed the claims as outlandish and unsubstantiated, others have pointed out that the allegations fit into a broader pattern of troubling behavior that has been documented in other lawsuits against him, with Diddy currently behind bars awaiting trial on unrelated charges. The timing of this lawsuit has only added to the speculation. Is this just the tip of the iceberg, or is it a desperate attempt to bring down a powerful figure at his most vulnerable moment? As the legal battle unfolds, allies will be on the courtroom. And on the celebrities who have been dragged into the fray, Beyoncé and Jay-Z in particular, are likely to face increased scrutiny as the public demands answers about their alleged presence at the party. Will they break their silence, or will they choose to distance themselves from the controversy altogether? And what about LeBron James, whose vehement denial has done little to quell the chatter surrounding his name? The stakes are high, not just for Diddy, but for everyone involved as the lawsuit threatens, toppling careers and reputations alike. And
8 celebrities who were recorded having intimate relations with Sean Combs. How many of them appear to be either inebriated or intoxicated or under the influence?
All of them. All of them.
Out of those 8,
And here's where
were there any cameras in places where you'd assume privacy, like bathrooms? Well, I've never been in this house, but the picture, yes, that's where it took place. You're aware of surreptitious cameras that were recording in private places. Like, I didn't see the cameras. You could tell how it was the person was angled. Let's rewind for a moment. Beyoncé and Jay's often referred to as music. Royalty have always been careful about their public appearances. Their brand is built on perfection, glamour, talent, and the allure of a rock-solid partnership that seems immune to the turbulence of Hollywood relationships. But the cracks in their foundation have been whispered about for years, from the infamous elevator incident in 2014 to the lyrics in Beyoncé's groundbreaking album, Lemonade, which suggested infidelity on Jay-Z's part. While the couple has seemingly weathered the storm, the allegations tied to Diddy's lawsuit could reignite old doubts, casting a fresh shadow over their union. What makes this even more fascinating is the timing. Beyoncé and Jay-Z have been on a winning streak in recent years with successful tours, lucrative business ventures, and a carefully curated public image that screams power couple. But their alleged presence at Diddy's notorious party in 2015 has raised eyebrows. According to Menzaro's account, the pair was seated in a room where he was
after they are done with Diddy, Jay-Z is up next to be.
As for Diddy,
suggestion that they participated in anything untoward. Their silence has been deafening. Neither Beyoncé nor Jay-Z has issued a statement addressing the allegations, leaving fans and critics to speculate about what they might or might not.
Say allegedly has done things and allegedly participated in a lot of things that the public would not be happy to know.
Adrian.
And here's where things get even murkier. Some insiders are speculating that this lawsuit could be the tipping point for Beyoncé and Jay-Z's relationship, reigniting past tensions and forcing them to confront issues they've long tried to keep under wraps. Could the stress of being dragged into this scandal push them to their breaking point, or will they close ranks, presenting a united front, as they've done so many times before? It's impossible to say for sure, but one thing is clear: the public's appetite for answers is insatiable, and the longer they remain silent, the more the rumors will grow. Then there's the matter of LeBron James. Unlike Beyoncé and Jay-Z, LeBron's team wasted no time in shooting down the allegations, calling them demonstrably false, and pointing out that he was busy leading the Cleveland Cavaliers during the time in question. But even with such a strong denial, the fact that his name has been dragged into this mess is enough to raise questions. Why was he mentioned at all? Could this be a case of mistaken identity, or is there more to the story than meets the eye? LeBron has worked hard to maintain a spotless public image, and this lawsuit threatens to tarnish that, even if only by association. For someone as image-conscious as LeBron, even a hint of controversy can be damaging.
We actually see one of the biggest divorces in Hollywood is because Jay-Z is up next to be exposed.
Be as for Diddy, the fallout from this lawsuit could be catastrophic. He's no stranger to controversy, but the sheer scale of the allegations against him this time is unprecedented. Over the years, he has built an empire, not just as a music mogul, but as a brand unto himself. From Kai Rock to Shah Dawn, his name has been synonymous with success, luxury, and influence. But these allegations paint a very different picture, one that could dismantle everything he's worked for. If the claims are proven true, it's hard to imagine how he could recover both legally and reputationally. And let's not forget the other defendants named in the lawsuit. Emilio Están, a highly respected figure in the music industry, has vehemently denied any involvement, as has his wife, Gloria. The couple's representatives have been quick to point out inconsistencies in Manzaro's story, including the fact that the property in question was not their primary residence, and that they've documentation proving no parties were held there during the alleged time frame. But even with these denials, the damage to their reputation has already been done. The mere association with such allegations is enough to cast a shadow over their legacy.